Next level motivation. Inspire, change, grow.
So then, if you get in the corporate world, what do you need to do to get to the top? There's a ladder that you have to climb. And I want to start by, we can't talk about how to climb that ladder if you're not yet in there. So I want to address, how do you get in the corporate world? Because today, I'll tell you what, there are a lot of people that are looking for jobs that are not able to get jobs. The last statistics was showing that here in Zambia, we only had about 700,000 formal jobs out of a population of 15 million people. And every year, we have a lot of graduates that are being offloaded on the market at different levels. Master's levels, degree level, bachelor, we have diplomas, we have certificates. We have a lot of people that are being flooded on the market. The question is, how do you get into the corporate world with so many people looking for jobs? Because of limited time, I'll only share a few tips. And after that, I'll leave it to you to go and build on it. Number one, for every job that, I advertise jobs all the time, I'm always hiring. For every job that we have advertised, we get over 1,000 applicants. How am I going to sieve through those 1,000 applications and get your CV to be amongst the 10 that are going to be shortlisted? Or the 8? And sometimes, because of being so busy, I said, please, just give me the best 4. 1,000 applications. How is your CV? What is the nature of your CV? If your CV is put together with 1,000 others, what will be standing out on your CV? Some CVs, I can tell you, they are completely useless. You don't even want to read it. You don't, because remember, you've got this box of CVs. And you see this CV in a very bad font, very badly indented and written, and everything is just looking like you don't want to read it. So if you have not focused on how you have prepared that little simple paper, it will be thrown away even before anybody sets their eyes to look at the name that is on that CV. And this is reality. This is what happens every single day. What is in your CV? How is the appearance of your CV? And the goodness about today, guys, is that there are so many tools. There are so many references. There are so many places where you can go and just check, how do I write an impactful CV? And it's very simple. You will find it. Just go. You know where to go. You will find direction. And your CV will be able to get to the point where it's distinguished. Number 2, this is another part that many, many times I tell myself, God, you know, there are certain times when I'm the one interviewing, but I'm saying, I wish I was the one looking for this job. Because people are coming for interviews unprepared, and it is upsetting. It is very, very upsetting. The way that somebody comes for an interview, you're wondering, do they really, really want this job? Or it's just one of those things that somebody wanted to do? You know, when you get to... I'm a church boy, so for those that are church girls and boys, when you look at 1 Samuel 16 and verse 7, the Bible will tell you that God said He does not see as man sees. Man looks at the outside, but I look at the heart. That's a very, very good verse. I love that verse. Unfortunately, a lot of us have misunderstood and misinterpreted that verse to begin to think that man should begin to look as God sees the heart. If you are coming for an interview, my brother, I will not look at your heart. I am man. I am not God. I see the outside. God looks at the heart. I am man. What do I look at? I look at the outside. So the moment you are entering into the interview room, I know you have prayed, you have prepared, you're a good person, you're hardworking. I won't see the hardworking. The first thing that I'll be seeing is your hair. It's your dress. It's your outlook. It's how you're sitting on the chair. It's what I'm hearing you speak. Those are the things that I'm seeing. The rest of it, and you go and you're breaking your head and saying, you know what, I don't know why I didn't get that. You were not prepared. That's why you didn't get that job. You were totally not prepared. I told you I interview all the time. There are certain times when the candidate goes out and we remain looking at each other and say, what was that? What was that? And so thank you so much for setting up this program. Because I'll tell you what, there's a lot of times when I feel like, God, where can we get a school where I can just, because these things are not taught in school. You won't find them in the syllabus. They are not taught. And unfortunately, very good people who can make a very big difference at the companies are not getting employed because they just don't know how to interview. My advice to you is, if you are preparing yourself to get into the corporate world, begin to position yourself as a corporate person. Don't go in there and say, I will change. I'll become more corporate when I get there. The people who are looking to get you, they know what they're looking for. So let's now cross over. So we have dealt with all of those things around how do you get in and everything else. And now let's assume that you're one of those few, the two people that have actually now, or the one person out of the 1,000 applicants who has now been employed. What do you do when you are inside? A few things that I want to share with you very, very quickly as you are inside the corporate world. Number one, know why you're there. And these, I know I'm talking about the corporate world, it applies anywhere. So you may already be in the corporate world. I've seen a few faces that I know that are already working, and others that are not, and others you might be in school, you might be doing something, it might be business, you might be out there. These principles that I'm going to share with you, they can apply anywhere. Know why you're there. If you are there just to go and be one of the employees, indeed you just be one of the employees. But remember what I said at the very beginning. One of the employees, you will be at the bottom. And at the bottom, it is crowded. It's hot. It's not a pleasant place to be in. You will always be hearing complaints and crying in the corridors. You will always be hearing, no, our salaries are too low. No, there's too much work. No, there is this, there is that. Aim to get to the top. The day one that you enter in there, purpose and say, I want to get to the top. That applies in the corporate world, it applies in school, it applies at church, it applies in business. Always aim to get to the top. I'll tell you that even in business, those little small businesses that are struggling, they're always complaining. They are always complaining, it's difficult to do business in Zambia. The same Zambia are saying it's difficult to do business. There are people who are making millions. And they're quiet, they're not talking. How do you get to the top? Know why you are there. Unfortunately, it so happens, again, forgive me, I'm a church boy. The one book that I read so many times, tells me this, that at one point, and I think this is in Acts, you'll find this in Acts chapter 16. Let me see if I can, let me read it for you. This one I'll read it. It's an interesting one. Okay, so let me try to find it, because it's one of the principles that you can apply anywhere and it will be able to help you. Let me find it very quickly. Okay, so it says that some therefore cried one thing, or let me start on verse 31. Then some of the officials of Asia, who were his friends, sent to him pleading that he would not venture into the theater. Some therefore cried one thing, and some another, for the assembly was confused, and most of them did not know why they had come together. So this was a situation whereby there was confusion. These were crying this thing, others were crying the other thing, and there was so much. It was like a demonstration, a viva or something. Viva, that's the terminology at UNZA, right? So maybe it's used at other colleges as well. So there was a demo and whatever was happening. And you know what happens during those demonstrations? Most of the people are just following. They don't even know why they're there. They say, hey, Bala Jumbo, hey, Bala Jumbo, hey. And you're just following, hey, there's a viva. And they're just following. And some are shouting this thing. Others, why demonstration? Oh, no, it's new allowances. Ah, no, it's exam things. Ah, no, it's this. But they're still following in the crowd. Most of them do not even know why they are there. Today, there are so many people that are just following the crowd. They do not really know why they are there. Let me add a little bit of salt in it. I can tell you that even in these events that we're having, there are others that don't know why they're here. It's just, oh, it was advertised. Oh, motivation next level. Ah, let's go. But if you ask yourself the question, why am I really here? What am I looking for? Me as an individual, apart from just ticking the box that we went and were invited, but why am I here? What am I looking for? The same thing even in the companies that we work. When you ask yourself, what am I doing at this company? What am I looking for? What am I trying to get out of this? When you're very, very clear on what you are looking for, you will play a very, very different game. You will do things very, very differently. Somebody said that, and I'm sure that we have heard of that story. It's just something that I'm going to remind you of. If you remember in America, the states were working so hard in trying to get during the space flight. And I'm told that Jeff Kennedy was moving at NASA in the corridors and found a man that was sweeping. And he asked him, "What are you doing here?" And he said, "I am helping to put a man on the moon." Most of us would have said, "Oh, I'm sweeping, I'm cleaning the floor." Why are you here? What are you doing here? And if I ask that question to you, I don't know what you would answer. I said, why are you in this room? Most of us would say, oh, I'm attending the next motivation or the next level of motivation. That's not what you're doing. There's something that you are building. There is something that you need to have a destination of where you're going and say, the reason I'm here, I am going there. And I know that the substance that I'm getting out of this place will help me to get to the next level. The reason why you are working at that company is for you to get to the top. It might not be the top in that company, and that reason is your own. It might not. It's not my reason. It's your own. It might be the reason you are there is for you to build an empire for yourself, for your children, and for your family. The reason I'm here, I'm trying to get there, I'm trying to do this. But you need to know the reason why you are in that place. Next, this is one of my favorites. Find favor. For you to get to the top, find favor. Now, a lot of people ask for favor. Favor is not given, it is found. In fact, a lot of people pray for favor. That's a wrong prayer. No one will answer that prayer. Find favor. When you go and read anywhere, whether you are reading a secular book or you are reading the Bible, you are reading anything, what you will find there is so and so found favor in the eyes of ABCD. When you are at the office, when you are at school, when you are doing business, purpose to find favor. Find favor before the custom and immigration officer. Find favor before the doctor. Find favor before the receptionist. Find favor before your boss. Find favor before your colleagues. And finding it, I'll repeat, you have to find it. Because it exists. I can tell you that even people who have been known to be sadists, people who have been known to say, this one is so bad-hearted, there are people that they like, and you come back and you say, how come that man likes Christopher? Why? Christopher has found favor in the eyes of that person. It exists, it's there. There are certain places where you go to and say, the guy at that place, he doesn't allow anyone. But you go there and that person allows you in. What have you done? You have found favor. How do you find it? And that's a bigger question. How do you find it? And I'll tell you very quickly. Just a few examples of how can be able to find favor. Number one, if you're doing anything, please do it diligently. If you're doing any work, do it diligently, excellently. Let no one be able to fault you. Let there be no reason for somebody to say, you know what, I've got a problem with this one. You have to know what really matters to that, whether it is that person or that individual or anybody else that you're trying to find favor before. Do not have a spirit of complaining and complaints and complaints. I can tell you, no one wants to be around people that are complaining. It's draining. If I have people in my team and every time I'm always hearing, I know this, and I'm like, hey, please. Even guys who have girlfriends, if your girlfriend is always complaining, you're like, I think this woman will wear me down. Or it's the other way around. It's the other way around, right? Yes. If the guy is always complaining and complaining, as a lady, you're like, you know what? No. I don't know how far we'll go with this. But do you know that we've got employees who are always complaining? Yeah. Always complaining. And you're saying, you know what? Do you think that person can be promoted? No. Never. Can that person win favor? Never. Do not be the one that is always complaining. And to find favor, I'll touch one of the points I touched earlier. Be presentable. It's very easy to win favor just by being presentable. In everything that you do. Whatever you do, whatever you submit, the way you're looking, just invest in that. It makes a very, very big difference. Next, know that it's a competition. It's a competition. When you are out there, and I'll keep on repeating, whether it's in the corporate world, it's outside the corporate world, it's anywhere, know that it's a competition. By the end of the day, there are 5 of you. Not all the 5 of you get promoted at the same time. There will be one that will be promoted. How are you competing healthily amongst your friends in a healthy manner? How are you going to be picked up? How will somebody be able to identify you? In as much as you are doing the teamwork, do not forget that it's a race. And compete also with yourself as well. Because sometimes, many times, you have done something and you keep yourself there and you're happy. If you have achieved a certain milestone, ask yourself, how am I going to beat that milestone that I've achieved last time? We know very well it's not easy to beat your first record. Very difficult. And many times it's complacency that comes in. After you have achieved a certain mile, you become very, very complacent. Never become complacent. Never. Your victory of yesterday should not always be the one that you're hanging on. Oh, I'm the one who did this. I'm the one who did... you know what? As you're still holding on, I'm the one who did this. Others are breaking another record. Next, create a network. That is very, very important. As you are growing up into your, going up the ladder, into the corporate world, in your career, in business, or anywhere else, look at what network you are creating around yourself. I'll tell you this, and I'll say it without an apology. It's all right to lose some friends. Some people will come to you and say, Kelvin, but you're a changer. It's fine to change. Who says you shouldn't change? It's okay to change. You are at a different level. Do you know sometimes you've got friends that are bringing you down? And people begin to judge you by the people that are around you. You cannot be growing up as a CEO and you're found with people who have got no clue of what being a CEO is, and those are the people that are giving you advice. How? It doesn't work. Look at the network that you're building amongst yourself. And when you're building a network, let me tell you again, life is in such a way that people believe in a mutual relationship. If your building of the network is always you're on the begging side, that network will not work. That network will not work. If somebody is always, even when somebody is coming in, because one of the things that we do is we don't take advantage of people that we meet. When you have an opportunity of meeting Madam Charity, use that opportunity and say, how can I have an impact? How can I leave a lasting impact? Such that when I go back and say, I'm the one who she will remember. Many times, we are found in an elevator, in a lift with very important people, and we let them go. We are even in a corner. Yes, come on. How many people have an opportunity? You know what? Yeah, I was on the same lift at Pamosi with this and that. So what did you do? Nothing. Zero. Build your network. And take advantage when you have that short time. Take advantage to sell yourself. Take advantage, make an impact. Because of time, I'll just cruise through. And be visible, by the way. Very, very important. Now, this, it will shake you up a little bit, and it will make you a little bit uncomfortable, but still I'll be able to say it. When I go in a room, whether I'm visiting a branch in Zimbabwe or Botswana, I can tell you that within 10 minutes, I'll pick which are the bright guys in that room. Very easily so. And as I go away, there'll be one or two people that I'll remember in that room. Remember what I said, it's a competition. Wherever you are, always purpose to be the one person or the second person that will be remembered. And there are several ways of doing it. One of them, and this will shake you up a little bit, but I'm okay with it, is people easily remember somebody who said something. If your CEO comes to your unit or to your department, and they've said, after I've said any question, and you're like this, I can tell you, the one person who lifted up their hand, the CEO will go and remember. So who was that girl? Be visible. When there is a call to say, look, we are submitting, there's a competition, there is that, and don't always just sit back. Go in, make your submission. This is my idea. I hope it works. Be visible. I'm almost getting to the end. I only have 2 points, and then I'll close. The last but one is a risk that I'm taking, but I still say it. I am risking, and I'm talking about risking. This may get you thinking for some time. And for somebody who was not here and they just heard a bit of it, they'll be confused, but I'll still say it. Break the rules. Be prepared to take risks. Guys, if you want to get to the top, you cannot always play by the rules. Because the rules are meant for the crowd. The rules are meant for the chintuwingi. The rules are meant for good order. Because if rules are not there, then there will be chaos. But I wanted to let you know, and this is a risk I'm taking, and it's a deliberate risk. It's all right sometimes to break the rules. But as you're breaking the rules, you need to know the risk you are taking and the price that you have to pay for breaking the rules. Let me give you some examples. You know on the road when you're driving, there are all those, the yellow line on the sides, the white line, the continuous line, and all the rules around to not cross the continuous white line. And we know all of that, right? We can all follow those rules. But let me tell you, if you want to get to the copper belt on time, there's some point when you break a rule. Are you with me? There will be a point where you say, okay, you know, but it's a risk you're taking. If everybody just followed the way it was, you will get there, but you'll get there after 6 hours, which is fine. But if you want to get there in 4 hours, at some point you break the rule. There will be certain times when companies will say, you know what, we only promote after 2 years. After 2 years, then we promote. After 2 years, if you know how long it will take you to get the top, right? But there will be somebody that will go on the first lane. It's not everybody who does that. The rest, they are crowded. It's at the bottom where the crowd is. But 1 or 2 people, somebody will ask, but how did you make it? How were you promoted within 9 months? This is deep. There are many times who go into the company, no, they said, I work from 8 to 16 or to 17. Forget it. Go and work from 8 to 17 and you'll be part of the crowd. There'll be somebody who will say, you know what, they say 8 to 17, but I am not part of the crowd. I am different. I'm going to do things differently. Others are saying, oh no, it's lunchtime. Hey, it's like, okay, play it like that. You remain part of the crowd. No, but I went for lunch. I need an allowance. Hey, I need this. Guys, that's what the crowd does. Be unique. Be different. If you go back, and for me, you know what, I've told you already, me, I'm a church boy. A lot of people that I've learned to, that I've looked at, and I said, oh my God, Jesus was breaking the rules. They said, don't do it on the Sabbath. He goes and does it on the Sabbath. He has broken the rule. Hey, no, but look, he has broken the rule. He has done this, and they've done everything else. But he is a trailblazer. He has made a new standard that was not existing before. Moses broke the rule. And it was out of breaking the rule that he even went out to Midian. And later on he came through. And there are so many people. Think about Elijah breaking the rule. You think about Daniel Do you know why Daniel was thrown in the den of lions? He broke the rule. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego broke the rule. Paul himself breaking the rule. That's why he was getting in and out of prison. But do you know how much impact they made? Now, I'm not asking you to just go out there and start breaking. What I'm saying to you, there are certain standards that have been set that should not be what you should be going for, and put it in your mind to say they are only going to employ somebody with an MBA. It is meant for the crowd. There are many times I have advertised and I've said I want somebody with 10 years experience. I end up hiring somebody with 3 years experience. Somebody broke the rule. If you sit back and say, oh, let me look at the list. What have they said? I do not qualify. You remain never qualifying. And sometimes they even say, do not apply if you do not have the following. Break the rule. Go and apply. Lastly, you probably would guess by now what I'm going to talk about. Have faith. Guys, I'll tell you what. I have seen, I have studied, I have followed a lot of people that have made it to the top. There is always something they are holding on to. There is always something they believe in. Now, what they believe in might not be exactly the same with what I do or what you do. But there is something that keeps them going. Because life out there is not easy. It's so competitive. There are many times when you're beaten, when you're shaken, when you cry. And if you do not have anything that you're holding on to, you cannot stand. And other people hold on to so many things. There are people with charms, with jujus, with all over the place. Whether it's the Soweto market you go to, in the companies, there are people that go and wash in things, they do everything else. What are you holding on to? What is it that is keeping you? What is it that you are holding on to and saying, it will help me to get the next level? So I'm not going to tell you what to believe in. Because I know that we all have different faiths. We all have different things that we look up to. But I can tell you that whatever you find and you're holding on to, do it with all your might. Do it diligently. Do it. Don't just be like one of the people who are serious with whatever religion they follow. Look at what they do. What time they wake up, how much they pray, where they go, and so on. People who have believed in these spiritual things and so on, if they have been taught to say, please, do not eat fish, they will never eat fish. If they have been told that when you're going in the house, always go in reverse, they will always go in the house in reverse. They will follow those instructions diligently. The challenge we have is that many of us, especially us that are Christians, many times we take it casually, very casual. So, as I end, ask yourself about your faith. What you believe in, what sees you through. Because by the end of the day, as you are finding favor, if you also find favor before God, many of these things, they become very easy. Because He is the Almighty. He's the one that knows everything else. He's the one that knows the minds. He's the one who knows the opportunities. The one that knows everything else. That is if you believe in that God. But you might believe in something else. I don't want to preach or influence anybody's faith. But as you go out there, I encourage you, find where you're holding on. Thank you so much.
Next level motivation. Inspire. Change. Grow.